Hello there, it's Carrie Rhodes here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's card making video, I am making an A7 size Christmas card with a window, a gift tag, and a matching ornament. All of the products I'm using to make these are from Trinity Stamps' newest release. This is the A7 Snowflake Frame Die Set. It has coordinating dies with it. I love that. This is the big snowflake cut and foil set. So there's dies and a hot foil plate, and I'm going to show you one way to use this hot foil plate without hot foiling. Next, I have this beautiful Simply Sentimental Happy stamp set and coordinating die set I'll be using on my card, and a couple others I'll show you as I go. First, I'm going to take that large frame and die cut it with the inner rectangle inside and die cut that all at once. And since I won't need that inside piece, I'm going to use that to cut out my little snowflakes. Now, being that snowflakes are intricate, sometimes you have to use a little tool to help maneuver and get the little pieces out around the fragile arms of the snowflake. So that's what I'm doing here. And then here you can see those snowflakes up close. I love that it comes with extra snowflakes. That's awesome. All right, here is my A7 size card. So it measures 7 inches by 10 inches, and I scored it at 5 inches. I laid my frame on it, and I'm tracing the inside rectangle as a guide so I can cut a rectangle out of the front of my card to create this window. So I'm taping that in place. Now, this might not be 100% accurate, but it's going to be really close and good enough for my window card. So you want to open that and then die cut it. Ask me how I know. I've done that before. So now it's time to glue this frame in place. You're going to need lots of little dots of glue, and a precision tip applicator is super helpful. So I'm just going to slide that in place and then press it down. Here's that big snowflake die. Now these are all the dies. There's 3 dies, a base layer, a middle layer, and a top layer, and each one gets more detailed as you go. For the smallest layer, I'm actually going to use that negative piece as a guide, but look how beautiful these look when you layer them up. It's so pretty. And just imagine all the fun color combinations that you could do. You could use holographic paper, glitter paper. Oh, it's just a fabulous die set. So I'm going to go ahead and layer these up. The first 2 layers, you can see I'm creating 2 snowflakes here for my card today, and I'm doing that while my Glimmer hot foil system heats up. Then I'm going to cut out the foil I need for my project. So I'm just taking that guide. I want my foil to be slightly smaller than this, or about the same size. I actually got it a little bit bigger and had to trim it down, but you want to just use something as a guide so you know how big to cut this, and that quick trimmer is really helpful. So I taped my foil face up to a piece of Superior Smooth Cardstock by Wow. It's a great white cardstock for hot foiling. Having a smooth cardstock is really helpful when hot foiling on white cardstock, especially if you're doing like a really big, bold hot foil. Smooth cardstock really helps. So you can see I'm using that guide to place the snowflake down onto my hot foil. That's going to keep it in the center, and it's going to help us die cut this out. I laid that on my hot foil system face down, put on my spacer pads, press the timer. When the timer's done, just pull that whole entire platform back towards you and run it through the die machine. And now let's take a look and see what we have. Now you can see I have a lot of excess foiling because I had extra layers, I had tape, but we're not going to need that part because we are going to die cut this. And you can imagine it would be really hard to die cut this with a solid die that you cannot see through, but we can see through this guide. So I'm taping that in place so it's lined up with my hot foiled snowflake, and then I can just lay that die right in the grooves of that guide and die cut it out just like that. And now we have a really nicely die cut foiled snowflake, and it is gorgeous with the red on the white. I love red and white for Christmas, obviously, as that's my color scheme for today. And then I can lay that and glue it in place right on the top of my layers. And now I really have 4 layers. I have white, red because of that hot foiling. Isn't it gorgeous? Wow. And it'd be really hard to get a stamp that skinny and thin, so having a hot foil is magical for this. Okay, here's that great new stamp set, Simply Sentimental Happy. I'm going to stamp Happy Christmas with Versamark ink on this red cardstock and emboss it with white powder. Not only does Trinity Stamps have this stamp set Happy, but they also have Simply Sentimental Hello, You, and Thanks. And they're great, like, all occasion, all-purpose stamp sets to have that you can use with anything. They have different fonts in them, the dies that are multi-use, which I'll show you here in a minute after I melt my embossing powder. I love the look of embossing. It's one of the very first like techniques I learned when stamping, and it is still magical. Melting that powder, it's fabulous. Okay, I'm die cutting the word happy, but on the left there, you can see that other happy die. It's going to cut out each individual letter, and you could layer that on top of your die cut instead. So however you want to do it. I have added 2 dots of glue to 2 of the outer points of my snowflake. I'm gluing those just to the frame of my card, right in the center. And then it's going to be kind of suspended there, but to keep it more sturdy, more stable, and have something cute when you open this card, I am going to glue my second snowflake to the back of that one, and then there's something pretty to see on the inside of this card too, and how fun to have a window on the front of the card, right? Okay, we're going to now trim down this Christmas sentiment. I added some temporary adhesive on the back of this strip, and I can use my quick trimmer to trim this down using the blade that is for paper. So I'm just going to trim that so it's a little bit thinner, and then I need to make sure there's no adhesive on the back, so I used my adhesive eraser and removed that. Now I'm trimming down the sides just by laying it on the card, marking the spot with a pencil, and this is thin enough I can just cut that away with my scissors. So again, the glue is just going on the outer edge because it's going to be suspended across this card. I love the little banner on the front of this. It's really cute. Next we have our happy we're going to put at the top, and I'm just laying it there so I can figure out where exactly I need to put the glue, because I don't want glue getting on that inside panel of the card. So I put that on, and then I was just really careful about pushing it down on the parts where it was touching the inside of the card in case I got glue where I didn't want it. And I did on the end of that Y, so I just wiped that away, and then it was good to go. So there's the front of the card. So cool. But now we need a spot to write something on the inside. So I have the most solid or base layer of this snowflake. I'm going to line it up with that snowflake on the front of the card and then close the back of the card onto it to pick it up. That's going to be lined up, and you won't be able to see it when the card is closed, but now I have a spot to write a sentiment. I also embellished the inside of the card with those extra die cut snowflakes. And then I wanted to add embellishment to the outside of the card. So I have my Wintery white rhinestones, and I'm going to put those on top of the snowflakes right in the center, and then even around the snowflakes. I put quite a few to dress this up, and I think it looks so pretty with rhinestones. I love embellishment. So I decided I would bring out my red ones, Ruby Radiance rhinestones, and put the largest one right in the center of my pretty snowflake. And that really adds to it. Love it. Okay, back to the inside of the card. I felt like I needed to stabilize that banner across the bottom, so I stamped a second banner that says Handmade with Love, and I'm using the Holiday Tag Helper stamp set. I'll be using this a few more times. It's a great new stamp set for tags. And then you can see Handmade with Love on the back of that banner when you open the card, and I think it's just another fun sentiment, and I flagged the ends for a little extra detail. And this card is looking great. I love that card. Okay, now it's time to make a gift tag. So I have pulled out this cute new tag set. It is the Holiday Tag Die Set, and I'm taking that hot foil plate, taping it down to my red tag, and now I'm going to letter press. So I'm pressing the hot foil plate into the cardstock. I put it face down on my platform, use my silicone mat and my embossing plate. And then you can see that this made for hot foiling plate pressed that snowflake into the paper. It is so delicious. I love it. Now this little die cut word, joy, is also from this same tag set. I die cut it from white and I'm going to glue it right down to this tag. I centered the O around the center of the snowflake, and then it was easy to add the Y and the J on either side. And we need to dress this up a little bit. I mean, you don't have to. You could totally use the tag like this, but I love splatter. So I brought in my white silk that is from Spellbinders, and I have also peppermint stick Distress Mica Spray Stain I'm going to add because I love layers of splatter in different colors, and those are both pretty subtle. Next, I have this circle tag from the Slimline Tags Die Set. Look at all those tags, and the largest one is slimline size. Oh my word, I love it. So I'm stamping to and from on my little tag. I love the tags in that die set have like a beveled edge, like it presses a line into the outline of the die. And they all come with a hole already in them. It's so cool. All right, so now that that is stamped up with some red ink, I'm going to attach it to the top of my tag with some red and white twine to finish it off. And I think this is just simple, but so cute. And it's going to go with my red and white wrapping paper. Okay, next we're going to make an ornament. So I'm taking the middle layer of the snowflake die set, and I die cut it 6 times. I will die cut it 6 times, and then I'm going to score it down the middle and fold these in half. So when you fold them in half, you should have 3 arms in the center, 3 snowflake arms in the center, and 1 on each end. And you want to fold it in on itself. Okay, and then we're going to do the crease tool on the edge to make sure it's lined up well and the crease is nice and crisp. And then it's time to decorate it. Of course, I'm going to splatter it. So I have some white acrylic paint, and you don't have to use this much splatter. But what I do know about splatter, and especially this inexpensive white paint I got from the dollar store, it's going to dry back a little bit lighter than it is here. And so speaking of drying, if you're a little impatient, you can always grab your heat tool and use that to speed up the drying process. And then it's time to glue them together. So adding plenty of glue here and getting it on all the ends, because, you know, this being an ornament, we want to make sure that it really sticks and is well adhered. We don't want it coming apart on the Christmas tree, right? So what we're going to do is take another folded in half piece and glue these together. So this is not a new idea. You may have seen this concept for ornaments before, but this die set is perfect for these kind of ornaments. So I thought I would give it a go and share it with you because it's pretty easy to make. You can even make it with your grandkids or your kids, maybe even in a class for a Christmas project. So just gluing those together and trying to line up the snowflake as best you can. If it's not 100% perfect, it's not that big of a deal. So then we just glue on all 6 of these and adhere them so they line up, but we don't want to do the very last section where you glue it to finish it off. We're going to add something when we get to that point. So just make sure you're pressing down on all the edges to make sure it adheres really well. I like liquid glue for this. It really works good with the detail in these dies. So now I have the last 2 to glue together, but first I'm going to go ahead and take some twine, tie a knot in the end, and lay that down the center of this ornament. You can see I added a little extra glue there, and this channel is going to hide that knot that I had to tie in it, and the loop is at the top. So it's a really clever way to add the string there, and the glue is going to hold it in there really nicely. I did have a little bit of twine hanging out the bottom. I trimmed that off, and then I just put a little extra glue right in the bottom there and kind of squished that together for a minute, and there it is. Isn't that pretty cool? I think it's a fun ornament. You could totally be done there, but I didn't stop. I love adding glitter to things. Now you could use glue and glitter, or you could use stickles if you're not a fan of getting messy, but I kind of am. This reminds me of kindergarten class when you would add glue and sprinkle on the glitter and make a giant mess. And you know, that's right about the time that I fell in love with paper crafting, and I've been doing it ever since. So I love this, and I have a little paper to catch my glitter. And you know, I'm only gonna have glitter stuck to me from now until Christmas, but it's so festive, I don't care. So I probably did like 2 sections at a time and let it dry, and I actually did all the sides, so the front and the back of all of these sides, and let it dry. And now it's evening time. If you can tell, the lighting kind of changed in the video, so I just let that dry for a good length of time. And then I'm adding this largest of the 3 snowflakes from that A7 cover plate die set and putting them right in the center. Now when you fold these in half, you want to fold it the same, the 3 little arms in the middle and an arm at the top and the bottom. But the snowflake arm at the top and the bottom are really small, so don't try to fold those in half, and just glue it in the middle section, and the top kind of hangs out there, but it works. It's so awesome, the detail that it adds to this ornament. Now we just need a tag, so I stamped another sentiment, a gift for you, and to and from on one of the skinniest tags from that Slimline tag set, and I'm just going to slide it on there. It's not going to be on there long because I'm probably going to hang this ornament on my own tree. So here's all 3 of the projects today. I had so much fun creating with these snowflakes and with the red and white color scheme. I love the card with the window. I love that letterpress, and this glittery ornament, I'm gonna love opening it up for a few years to come and getting glitter on my hands and remembering making it. Maybe I would gift it. No, it's going on my tree for sure. Thank you so much for stopping by and letting me share some of my favorite new things from Trinity Stamps for the holidays. If you're interested in the products, of course, I have them linked for you below so you can check them out. And I just thank you all for supporting me, for clicking my links, liking my videos, your wonderful comments that brighten my day each and every time. I love what I do, and it's because of you. So happy holidays and happy stamping. I'll see you very soon on the next video. Bye.